Hello everyone, I'm Leanne for Paldi Solutions, and today I'm going to show you how to deploy our tree filter plugin. This plugin allows you to add a dropdown within the body of the dashboard and filter on multiple dimensions that have a hierarchy relationship between them. As you can see, it's very easy and nice on the eyes, the collapse and the expand options. I have a sales dashboard, so my drop down, my tree filter represents the region, the country, um, the salesperson or the sales team, team leader, and the salesperson within the team. Um, so this solution requires a little bit of modeling in the Elastic Cube. We will need to add a dimension table that maps all of the relationship or all of the hierarchy between the different dimensions, and then we will create the filter itself. So first of all, I have here the same dashboard as we were looking at before. It's just without the filter, and we are going to go step by step on how to add the new tree filter. So I'm gonna go to my Elastic Cube, sample retail Elastic Cube, and this is my dimension filter for my dimension table for the filter. So let's have a look at what we have here. As I've mentioned before, we have 4 levels of hierarchy in this particular case. We have the region, the country, the team manager, and the salesperson. Now, it is important that we have a unique list. So each one of them can repeat multiple times on its own, but together they should be unique. So every row is unique. And then we need to have a unique ID for each row. You can use rank. This is what I used, a rank formula. You can use anything else that you can think of that will add a unique ID for each row. Then you list your dimensions, your hierarchy dimensions. It can be as many as you want. Just make sure that it is correct with the modeling and that the joins are all correct if you need to add any joins. Um, and the last thing is the field that I created to connect this dimension table to my fact table. I've used a key of the country code and the employee ID because this is what makes my connection to the sales table unique. You can use obviously whatever works right with your data model, with your Elasticule. In my case, it was the salesperson and the country code. As you can see, this is only connected to the sales table because I'm only filtering on the sales team, the sales person, so I don't need to connect it to the purchase. And also, my entire dashboard is about sales. Um, so there is no problems here. This is um, one-to-many relationship, and make sure that when you're creating your table that it is also a one-to-many or one-to-one. For some reason, could be a one-to-one, but most definitely not a many-to-many. As we all know, this can cause problems, and we need the filtering tables to be unique. So once I finish creating this table and building the Elastic Cube, the next part is to go to the dashboard, and first we add a dashboard filter for our node ID. The node ID is the row ID that we've seen in this table. It's the rank, in my case, the rank function. It is the unique ID for each row in the tree filter. So I will add this filter and leave it here. And then I'm going to add my new widget. It's called the hierarchy filter. Now here we have 2 sections where we need to add fields. The first section is the node ID, exactly the one that I added in the dashboard filter. So I'm just going to add this. And then the second one is the levels. These are the dimensions that you're adding. I have added L1, L2, L3, 4 in the beginning of the names of these fields, just so it's easy for me to find them and to know the correct order. You can do the same. You don't have to. So once I've added my levels to my plugin, it is already complete. So I'll click apply and I will move it to the correct place. Okay, so now I have my dropdown ready and I can choose to filter, let's say, one sales team. And as we can see, we have two rows selected and our dashboard is filtered by this team. Okay, now let's have a look at some of the design options for this plugin. We have three sections in the design panel of this widget. First one, general. These are just the general settings. You can choose to hide the dashboard filter from the viewers, the ID dashboard filter that we've added before. Just in case your users are still using some of the native dashboard filters in Sisense, you might not want them to see this widget, this filter. They would not understand what it means and they will maybe try to touch it or change it. So you can hide it from them. Show clear button. This is the little X button within the drop down when it's closed, when you have a selection made. So you can choose to show it or not. A title text if you want to add any title text to this filter. The width of the drop down box and the placement. If it suits better for your dashboard, you can move it to the side or leave it at the center. The second part is about the selections within the dropdown, a little bit more on the logical side. The selection mode, you can choose to make it a multiple selection or a single selection. In a single selection, you're going to have a radio button in the lowest level of the granularity of just, for me, it's going to be the salesperson, and I can choose just this one. Or we can leave it on multiple selection with the checkboxes. Now the next part is how to treat null values. In case, for example, I have some sales in my sales table that are not mapped to either Europe or USA. For example, I've made some sales in Colombia and I do not have a region for that. I will have another section here that's going to be NA. So you can choose how to treat this. If you want to show it only on the first level, which for me is going to be the region, and then maybe under here, I'm not going to have any other NAs, or you can choose to hide everything. So show all of the NAs in all of the levels, or show only on the first level, or not show them at all. In my case specifically, I do not have any null values, so I will leave it on show. It doesn't really matter. The last part here is how to show the values that I've selected when the dropdown is closed, whether I want to chain all of them separated by a comma, or I can just show the text, select multiple selections, or whatever custom text you want to put in there. Same here for a custom text for this placeholder when you don't have any selections made. So this is the selection options. The last part is the apply button. You can choose to show the apply button or not. At the moment, I don't have it, which means that when I make a selection, I need to click outside of the drop down in order to apply and save my changes. If I choose to add the apply button, I will have it added next to the drop down, or I can choose to show it within the drop down. You can change the text, the width, and the color of the button. So I'm going to apply my changes and let's have a look at the filter one more time. I will make a selection here of this person, for example, and click apply. Now you can see my filter is applied on one row and my dashboard is filtered by my salesperson that I selected. So this is the tree filter plugin. Now you know how to implement it and how to manage the data modeling side. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to contact us at Paldi Solutions.